Hello everyone and welcome back to Chronos Plays Phoenix Wright Trials and Tribulations. Today, Armstrong is testifying once more about the, well, I guess the mirror in his restaurant that wasn't there. Hello, is everyone sitting comfortably? La mirror, it was in the middle of the restaurant? Wait, you weren't talking about like the partitions? Dividing the two halves. There's only one seat from which you could. I'm so confused. I thought you were saying partitions were in the mirror. Maybe I just completely forgot something between last recording session. I don't know. There's only one seat from which you could have seen an image of La Victime. That was the seat at the table next to La Victime's. That was where the loud old man was sitting. After that a terrible incident occurred, I moved La Mirror so it would not be in the way. But naturally, I did not touch anything else. I see no problems with that explanation we have just heard. I have a few problems. Okay, I mean, to be fair, Armstrong doesn't seem the best suited to be running anything, let alone a restaurant. So I guess, you know, decor is probably not going to be their strong suit. But a mirror partition-esque thing in the middle of your restaurant is just weird. From the table next to the victims, Mr. Godot could have seen the victim in the mirror. What a naughty little coquette I am, confusing all the men like this. Don't worry about it. We can keep up. Except for the guy breaking out in a cold sweat over there. I hate that guy. You said you didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror. Are you quite sure about that? Voltron, of course! Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you please. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna press everything, dog. Yeah, sure, press. Also, wait, hold up, though, for a second. I didn't realize, we have a crime scene photo? I mean, I guess it doesn't prove that there's no mirror, kind of, but it kind of does, right? Because this was taken in the center of the thing. Yeah? That seems, yeah, I mean, that could be one way to prove that there was no mirror there. Also, didn't what's-his-face break the vase? My seat, I'm sorry. Yeah, and that vase is not broken. Then again, he could just be insane. In the membrane. Insane in the brain. So you ran this way, so run this by me again. The mirror was here, correct? We, really? Here? Now? In front of everyone? No, thank you. Because I know if I were you, I wouldn't have put a mirror there. It would be in the way. Objection! Look who's talking, Tried. Huh? You're obstructing my view among other things. But this is my seat in the courtroom. Trebien's charm is that it gives you an impression that you're the only customer. How does it do that with the mirror where you could see the other customers? That makes no goddamn sense, Godot. Temporarily placing a mirror in that spot would have hardly been in the way. Yes, it would have. It would have been destroyed by Maggie, that's for sure. Unlike you, Trite. I tell you, Monsieur, La Mirror was there in the middle of the restaurant. Alright. And where would that be? Oh la la, look how you lean towards me. I always attract the younger boys. Maybe I should keep you in suspense a little longer. Mr. Armstrong, please tell the court what you know at once. I attract the older ones too, you know, handsome. Shall I tease you too? I need a new robe. I'm already seeing a very hot someone, so I'm afraid you'll be waiting for a long time. Is it coffee, Godot? Are you seeing coffee? You're gonna burn your genitals if you do that, dog. I bet she's a has mocha cream skin and a cappuccino perfume. Maybe? I used to love mocha coffee coladas. Oh, they were so bad for you, and I would totally drink like 2 a day, and they're like 1,000 calories each. That really explains a lot with my health issues in my later life. Yeah, like tone back the sugar, people. As someone who really didn't think about it when he was younger, tone back the sugar, like a lot. Because that will catch up to you. Hardcore. A cappuccino perfume sounds disgusting after long periods of time. Bien, I will tell you, there was only one seat from which you could have seen. I feel like I'm gonna have to present the crime photo there, right? So, why can you only see the victim from that particular seat? Monsieur, is it obvious, no? If you look at the plans, you will understand. The victim would have been reflected in the mirror like so. If you were sitting at the table next to him, you would see everything, no? So that's the seat old CD was sitting at on the day? When the poisoning happened? The old man was sitting at the table next to the victim. Why does that seem kind of odd? Did you move the mirror while Mr. Godot was off calling the cops? Oui! Exactement! Exactement! I carried it, not excrement, exactament. I carried it out of the restaurant then. You moved a huge mirror like that all by yourself. Dog has jacked arms, what are you talking about? What can I say? I know how to pick things up and put them down, handsome. Thoughts? Godot actually laughed at something! Well, given the witness's physique, I suppose it is possible. Did you move anything else from the crime scene, Mr. Armstrong? I look like the oogling type, no? Obliging type? Yeah, obliging. But naturally I did not touch anything else. Are you sure about that? I touched nothing except that mirror. Thoughts? Mr. Wright, is there something the witness has said that doesn't match the crime scene? Yeah, there is. I just can't put my finger on it exactly. Suffering from a case of heartburn, Tried? Oh, I have this to think with that. An oil with golden... What? And frankincense? Golden myrrh and frankincense? Add a few drops to your coffee and voila, you're probably gonna die. Focus, Phoenix. Breathe. I need to ignore those two and just find some evidence. Pretty strange though, isn't it? I mean, nobody mentioned anything about a really large mirror. You'd think someone would have, but Maggie didn't, and neither did old Seedy. And the only logical explanation is that there was no mirror inside Trebienne that day. Now that I've just got to prove it somehow. Well, so we got a crime scene. We could show it here because it was taken from the middle of the restaurant. But I guess you could be... No, that's not it. But I guess you could be standing to the other side of it. So I guess the bigger contradiction would be here? Music stop, baby. This piece of evidence contradicts with the testimony we have heard, Your Honor. The crime photo. Yes, this photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist. What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? Should not exist. Huh. Sounds like you're describing yourself, Trite. Now then, if the defense would please clarify this statement. Oh, you gonna make me point it out? What is something that should not exist in this photo? Well, this? Take that! I think it's pretty obvious that this is what should be in the picture. The vase. Oh, what possible connection does that have to? I thought I got it wrong because the music didn't stop, and what Phoenix said was very vague. What possible connection does that have with this witness's testimony? Your Honor, I'm telling you that there should have been no vase on this table. because it clearly contradicts this piece of evidence. Here? Okay. There is one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. Mr. Godot broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting. And yes, as the court can see, there is an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Godot was not, in fact, sitting at the table next to the victim at all. Okay, but like... I feel like we shouldn't be saying next to the victim with this. In front of the victim, sure. Next to the victim, to me, implies that he's sitting across the table. I guess either way, it's still next to him. But he was sitting next to him. Right? Or was he, like, on the other side looking to the, like, the north... Well, not northwest, but, like, the left, I guess, maybe? I don't know. I honestly, I have no clue what this layout could possibly... Like, from yesterday, I kind of thought he was sitting to, like, the left of the victim on the other side. And I guess he might still be, but, like, on the upper half? Or lower left half? Instead of just the lower half?
Objection!
Don't be an idiot, Trat. That's impossible. That's the seat, the only one Godot could have seen the victim's reflection from. Exactly! There's no mirror, you idiot! There is only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror at Trebienne that day. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie. Don't try to confuse the court, Trat. Obviously, the witness cleaned up the vase, while the police were taking their time getting to the crime scene. That contradicts his other testimony. Unfortunately, Mr. Godot, that doesn't quite work with me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary in his own words. I did not touch anything else except the mirror. Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself? Sniffle! I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant that day. In light of this revelation, we return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in the ear which he couldn't hear? You only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim that the mirror wasn't there, Trite, then this problem is all yours. How do you explain what the old man saw? If I can answer this, then I'll be much closer to the truth. I can feel it. Are you gonna be okay? Can you really solve this contradiction, Nick? No? There's more than just one contradiction, Maya. What do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean? Remember what Maggie told us? There was, another man at the victim's table. And there was a sample CD on the victim's table. MC Bomber Pants. It all flies in the face of Mr. Godot's testimony. And I think I know the reason why nothing in this case is adding up. Well, we kind of already assumed that the waitress wasn't really Maggie and was actually Viola. Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer. Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind the contradiction in Mr. Godot's testimony is simple. Oh, thank you for giving multiple choice. Mr. Godot was a mistake. The air doctor made a mistake. The victim was a phony? A big fat phony? Really? Wait, what? Because that's... Honestly, these first two just... I don't think would be right. So that leaves, by process of elimination, the victim was a phony. A big fat phony. But... what the hell does that mean? I kind of figured the waitress was a phony. Is the victim still alive? Fuck it, let's do it. This case is riddled with contradictions, yet there is only one very simple answer that clears them all up. And what is that? The incident Mr. Godot witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events. What? Yes, the victim that Mr. Godot saw wasn't Mr. Glenn Elg at all. It was an imposter, a phony pretending to be Mr. Elg. Oh! So, phony Phoenix pretending to be phony Elg? Obviously, unlike the victim, there was nothing wrong with the parsel's left ear. That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. Phooey! Order in the court. Settle down or I'll clear the courtroom. Quiet, Gramps. Why don't you clear out of here, huh? What did you say? Dude, hold him in contempt. Trite, are you saying that what Mr. saw was a setup? Yes. Someone pretended to be Glenn Elg and acted out the whole coffee poisoning. All for the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Victor Godot. Get real, Trite. Why would anyone want to do that? To cover their tracks? Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Godot was most insistent about in his testimony was... This here girl brought me a cappuccino, but she put something in it. Or him a cappuccino. Here's the same girl, right in the defense chairs. I remember her well. It's hard to believe, but... There was one, and only one reason to show Mr. Godot this whole fake poisoning. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee. Are you insinuating that the waitress and the old man's story was a fake as well? It's true that there are no other customers in the restaurant at the time, but... It's also true that the chef was there, and he would notice what was happening. Well, the chef should be going to jail too, I think. That's right. Well, witness, if your restaurant really was the scene of this theatrics, you would have known about it, correct? Oh la la! This is the most difficult for me. No, it's quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You're under oath, after all. Was there, in fact, a phony at Très Bien that day? The defense demands that Armstrong tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help him God. The defense's request for additional testimony is accepted. You will accurately explain in detail the events of the restaurant on that day. Oui. And if you don't, Armstrong, I'm gonna start removing fingernails. And you're not gonna like that. Kind of like that rose there. Slower, though. That's right. Do you perm your hair every morning? Because that's impressive. Kind of looks like those Hostess, like, chocolate roll things. The victim, Sir Elg, and came to my restaurant alone. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. There were no other customers. When he got the word he won a lottery, Mont Elg became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. None. There was no time for a phony to do the acting. Alright, so... just so we're clear, there was no mayor in the restaurant after all. Pardon, forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted this mess to be cleared up quickly. What you have just done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong. I will decide how to punish you later. Just hear a whip crack in the distance. For now, we will hear your cross-examination. Mr. Wright, if you please. You took the perjury charge a bit too well. But I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after this cross-examination. You know, being an accomplice to murder? Covering it up? Yeah, press, dog? Was he alone at his table as well? I saw him from the kitchen. Yeah, the defendant, Ms. Bird, remembers it differently. She swears there was another man at the victim's table. Ha! Unfortunately for you, Trite, yesterday's witness also testified that the victim was alone. You know, seeing you squirm like that reminds me of a certain coffee's bittersweet bite. What kind of coffee have you been drinking? He's been drinking actually just black paint from the looks of it. It's not coffee, it's love! It's love that's bittersweet! I think when I say that makes you seem wise all of a sudden. Not really. Not really. He comes often for my special coffee. I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special, I'll give you that. It's worth a sip just for the experience. Oh, you make me so happy, monsieur. You are most welcome anytime. I said it was worth one sip. and nothing more. I had to get a new toilet after that. So old man Godot arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask about his arrival in more detail. What? How many minutes? You're saying that not much time elapsed between the victim and Mr. Godot arrived. When the victim and Mr. Godot arrived. Oui, that is correct. But that still leaves the possibility that something happened in that gap of time. And by your recollection, how much time would you say elapsed? Let me see. Approximately 2 minutes, I would say. 2 minutes? That's all? Seems unlikely that anything untoward could have happened in such a short time. Rats! I knew I shouldn't have pursued this line of questioning. What? Why not? Yeah, we'll go back to that one in a bit. So your only customers were Mr. Godot and the victim.
Objection!
How many times do you need to ask the same thing, Trite? You'd never catch me drinking the same blend twice. How can you still drink coffee then? You know there's a limited amount of blends, right? You're trying to establish the presence of a phony victim in the restaurant, but you're wasting your time. You can't grind bird seeds to make coffee, if you catch my drift. What about bird bones? But there's a hole in this testimony somewhere. I'm sure of it. Did you see him? No, I was in the kitchen, but I heard him. I remember him shouting, yes, $500,000. That's very dumb of him if that's the case. Presumably the defendant heard that too. Then, correct? Maggie? She looked like a poor little frightened dove. And what about Mr. Godot? Well, the old man choked on some bird seeds that got stuck in his throat. It seems we now have yet another incident on our hands. And what were you doing at the time? Without any customers, you must have had time to kill. I'm a multi-talented woman, monsieur. Sorry, what do you mean? Here is the renowned chef, Jean Armstrong, and the tragic poet, Clarice Armstrong. Clarice? Oui, I was writing a poem, and an angry tale of a chef in half a $1,000,000 of debt. What a coincidence! Cooking for a man who won $500,000 on the lottery. It is called... whatever. Pourquoi? It means, why? Perhaps I could have recited a report. Please don't! Alright. You mean you contacted police as soon as the incident occurred? I asked the old man to call the payphone. By your own argument, Trad. The purpose of this phony victim's performance was so the old man would see it. In other words, once the incident occurred, this opportunity would completely disappear. Indeed. Bien. It seems the shadow of doubt has been lifted. Whatever. Dots? I guess Mr. Armstrong is connected to this case, huh? Absolutely. Someone was impersonating Mr. Elg, and I refuse to believe he was oblivious. He was there for the whole time, after all. But if you're right, wouldn't Maggie have noticed too? No, she's kind of an airhead. A lovable airhead, but an airhead. She fell unconscious when the incident occurred, remember? Ah, you mean that's when the phony staged the act? We'll know for sure once I find a hole in this testimony. So, was it this one? No? No, yes, okay. What time was it? Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Godot arrived? No, I cannot remember, monsieur. I believe we were told by the witness yesterday. The crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of scary old man, sir. Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness? The incident happened about 20 minutes after he'd arrived. So the victim must have arrived between 2 p.m. and 2:10 p.m., no? Huh. Just after 2, huh? So that's important. Thank you for jogging my memory, monsieur. You're wonderful! Yes, that's great. I can't sit here all the time and do nothing now, can I? The time of the day will be added to the witness's testimony. Oui! Everything I do it for you! Merci bien. That's French, isn't it? Ha ha ha. I'm glad at least one person is in a good mood. He's even hugging a song. It sounds like he's in love. 2 o'clock. Are you absolutely sure about the time? Look, when I think really hard, I'm sure it was just after 2 o'clock. Okay. Sure, we. Is the last time I stopped serving the lunch menu. You stopped serving lunch at 2? Quite right, I always break for lunch when the restaurants are serving their specials. I've been known to wind up a case early just to make it on time. Oh my god, I've been known to wind up a case early just to make it... You're an ass. I guess you should never get between a hungry judge and his lunch. Oh, would you look at that? It's almost lunchtime. Oh, we should get that lady that serves lunches. She was from the first game, right? Witness, get on with your testimony, please. Okay. So we have this? Yeah. I'm afraid I finally got you, Mr. Armstrong. Oh, what did you mean? At the time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week, they announced the winning numbers of a $500,000 lottery ticket. Oui, that must be the show Lionel was listening to. I can't see any problems with this testimony, Mr. Wright, because you don't have a gambling problem, Judge. I wonder. You say the victim arrived at your restaurant at 2 p.m., correct? Oui, I am sure of it. I remember perfectly now. I know it was at that time because I was finished serving the lunch menu. Get to the point, Trite, if you have one. The show is broadcast live at 1:30 p.m. It claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life. It's on the air at 1:30. Now, supposedly, the victim made some noise when it was announced that he had won. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred at 2 p.m. or after 2 p.m. because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time. No! This victim, we've been told about, has done nothing but the impossible. Don't we have an autopsy report? Yeah, okay. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over. There's only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. The victim was an imposter, acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder. Yes, there were 2 Glen Elgs at Très Bien that day. The real Glen Elg, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer. The phony Glen Elg, acting out the events for Mr. Godot to witness. It certainly seems that way. I mean, if that wasn't the case, how could you explain the time discrepancy?
Objection.
Quite a performance, Trite. You're almost on a roll. But sadly, you lack the hard foundation of rhythm and rhyme, to build your song. What is this, Music Theory 101? Let's recap according to your imaginative theory. It is now just after 2 p.m. The phony elk is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Godot. How do you explain, then, where the real Glen Elg is? I don't believe I have to spell this out for the court. However, at that time, the real Glen Elg was already dead. That's certainly the obvious conclusion.
Objection.
Thank you, Trite. That's exactly what I was hoping you would say. What? Now, I presume you can prove this theory of yours. Can you explain where the missing corpse went to? I mean, I'm assuming it's still inside the restaurant, right? The missing corpse? According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer there. If that customer was the phony Glen Elg, where did the killer hide the body of the real victim? Why are you getting freaked out? It's obvious it was inside the restaurant. Yeah, it was probably in the kitchen. Right? Where the fuck is the floor pan? Right there? Yeah, it was in the kitchen. Prosecution has a valid point, Mr. Wright. Why are you getting freaked out, Wright? This is easy. This is actually like the easiest case we've had in a long time. The easiest 2 cases. If your theory is to stand up to examination by the court, you must provide us with a proof by answering the prosecution question. Where did the killer hide the body? The kitchen! No conjecture, try it. Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence that proves where that body was hidden. I don't know. I don't know if I have evidence. I mean, I guess I could show the floor plan? That'd make sense. What's with the intense pressure in here all of a sudden? I thought I had him with that contradiction. I kinda did, but he turned it all around and backed me into a corner. We're not really back to a corner, I think. Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense's theory and evidence. First, where was the body of the real Mr. L concealed? God, clearly inside Trebian. It would have been too dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Trebian. Interesting. But where could a body have been hidden inside the restaurant? Perhaps you would care to show the court on these plans, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Yeah, it'd be the kitchen. Or even... There is a partition here, right? We could hide it there. It'd be easier to get over here. But I feel like people could just look over, so it'd have to be the kitchen?
Take that!
The body was hidden here. I see. Nice supposition. But the real question is, can you back it up? Where's the evidence that's proved the body was hidden in the location? Oh, shit. Oh, right! No! You're right! You're right, brain, for once in your goddamn fucking life! The hair medicine! Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle? No! No! I have never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only use the very best bottles, monsieur. The highest quality only for me. Where was that bottle found, Mr. Wright? Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen of Trebian. Huh? But I only ever use these bottles for my aromatherapy oil. But this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains a medication. What kind of medication? I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? That Mr. Elk visited a ear doctor and was given medication that day. You can't be serious. The defense had the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results here. The contents of the bottle matched the prescription that was given to Mr. Elk. Glenn Elk's murderer hid the body in the restaurant's kitchen, at which time this bottle fell out of the victim's pocket. Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you say you were in the kitchen? Yes, you know what I'm about to say. It was you who hid the victim's body. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client Maggie Bird. However, you were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's... Wait, what? You're setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back. Yeah, that makes sense. Order! Order! This is an extraordinary development. Witness! Did you murder Mr. Glenn Elg? Never! I could never do such a horrible thing! Oh, coffee coming back for Godot. He's pooping himself! Mr. Godot? The bitterness. Every time I get lied to, I always down a mug of coffee. You must drink coffee. Well, you already do drink coffee, non-stop. You're gonna die, dog. You're gonna have a heart attack if you keep this coffee shit up. Seriously. That's one of my rules. Do you have the slightest idea how many cups you've had by now? And I'd like to do the same to the person who lied to me. I'd like to take them down with my empty cup. Listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor in your ear of what? Of my what? My H-deficient friend? How about a brand new flavor in your ear, my H-deficient friend? What does that mean? Please, you must hear me now. It is a trap. Listen to me. Por favor. Hablo español, Mr. Armstrong, and por favor Spanish. I'm only gonna ask you once. Did you do it? No! No! Absolutely no! Let's hear it. You've got one shot. Right, Gramps? Witness, the court will permit you a chance to make one final statement. If you lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug will await you. As does my gavel. Oui, It is clear. What do they always say in the movies? I've got a bad feeling about this. I don't. I actually feel like this has been like some of the easiest cases I've ever had in Phoenix Wright. Maybe because this is the third game that I've played. But the last two cases and this one, like, seems like open and shut. Well, this case and the last case. Yeah. Oh, and the case. Wait. Yeah. The two cases last time and then this case seems super easy. But yeah, that's it for this episode. Bye. I'll see you next time. We're gonna have another testimony, right? Yeah, probably. So, yeah, see you then.